Hello, 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 hello. It's uh it's the moment, the time of the year when we start a live stream. It gets a little bit awkward in the beginning, because we're waiting for people. We're waiting for other people. Let's put some music while we wait for other people. Same song as before, okay? It's a little bit of cumbia. It's like a Colombian native Latin music that I love. Here you go. So let's wait for more people. A little bit more. A little bit longer. Hear the music or okay. Okay. Okay, we're waiting for people, but I think we have some echo. There you go. Okay. Let's do a little bit of stretching, A little stretching. Respiren profundo. Concentración, concentration, Zen, meditate just a little bit before we start, It's always good to do a little bit of that. A little bit of peace and quiet before we start. So yeah, again, this is a little bit awkward, I'm pretty sure, for a lot of you, but it's just we're waiting for more people, for them to come. So going to be answering some of the questions here on the chat before we start. By the way, on the chat, you should tell us, where are you visiting from? What time is it over there? And also just say hi, I'm here, say. So I see that someone is asking what kind of webcam I'm using. I'm actually using a Sony 6300, and so it's a mirrorless camera, but I'm connecting it with something that transforms the HDMI signal into digital. It's like a little box. So from the camera, there's a little cable that goes to this box, and this box just does its magic and turns that thing into digital. And then it goes into the computer, and then the computer thinks it's just another webcam, which it's pretty cool because then you can just put any DSLR or mirrorless camera and then have a really good image, And also I'm using a lens that is f2, like the aperture is 2. So it gives me that. I'm pretty sure that my background is super silky smooth. That's what the f2, that's what it does. So people from New York, from Taiwan, from Charlotte, and Nelson from Webflow. Oh, we have some people from Webflow here. So yeah, if I get stuck on something, I'm going to get stuck, by the way. People from Webflow probably can help us. So you can ask questions there. So probably I should move on to yeah. So okay. Let's start. let's get started, okay? It seems like we already have enough people to get started on this workshop. Let me just put here what's going to happen. Today, we're going to create a landing page using Webflow. And we're going to go actually, our design was first designed on InVision Studio, and then we're going to be referring to that design and then trying to code it on Webflow. Just like, and when I say code it, it's just like turn it into like a published page, but we're not going to use any code, which is the magic of Webflow. And it's going to be really easy, hopefully. I added some stuff out on the description of this video. You're going to see some links. So if you want to follow along, you can click on the Dropbox link, and that way you can download the studio file. And also, well, you're gonna need Studio if you want to follow along on that, and you're going to also need a Webflow account. So I'm going to still be talking. So right now, if you don't have a Webflow account, go create a Webflow account, download Studio. And for now, let me tell you what's going on. So we're going to be taking a look at the UI of Webflow just to understand what everything is. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have opened Webflow and they saw, oh my God, this looks cool, but it's just a blank canvas and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Hopefully, after this live stream, you're going to feel confident enough to come back, open Webflow, and just start creating stuff. And probably just like turn your designs that you made in your design tool, hopefully Studio, and then turn them into code using Webflow. Magic, baby. So we're going to be using sections, a lot of div blocks, containers, rows, columns. It's just like a understanding with this design, we're going to start understanding how they work. Everything in the web is inside a box. We're going to see that boxes inside boxes inside boxes. And also Flex. We're going to be using Flex and almost a lot of the stuff is going to be just like using Flex. And also text styling, and we're going to be adding buttons. And we're going to, if we get to that, we're going to be using a Google font, just like how to add a Google font to your project. Responsive. Hopefully we have the time for that. I think I was programming this to be for 1 hour. I think it's going to be probably 1 hour and a half. It's okay. We're going to at least learn how to do that. And then project settings, just like how to do some of that stuff. And then here are the resources. So all of this stuff should be in the description. So, well, again, you need Studio to follow along. You need Webflow, a Webflow account. It's free, by the way. Both InVision Studio and Webflow, they both have, Webflow has a free account that allows you to have 1 or 2 projects. I don't know. Ask there on the chat. They're going to tell you how many projects. And also, we're going to be using some photos from Unsplash for this website. This website is just it's not a real website. It's just for us to learn, for practicing. And also, by the way, I already made this website. You can clone it. And so if you want to go, you could go to webflow.com/Pablo Stanley. You're going to see something that I already put there. If you want to skip all of this, you can just go there, clone it, and see what the hell I did, because we're going to be recreating that site. And then also all the studio file and assets. I put a link to the Dropbox link. And yeah, and actually that will be cool. Probably I can show you. Let me show you over here. What the hell is going on? I'm going to show you the finished project before we actually do it. So let me share my screen real quickly. Okay, so here is the finished project. This is how it looks. It's a pretty simple landing page. It's just some blocks with text and some photos, beautiful photos from that were downloaded from Unsplash, and that's it. Really simple. We're not reinventing anything here. We're just trying to understand how to use Webflow and the most basic stuff. And then let me actually publish it. I'm pretty sure I haven't published it, so we can actually see it live. So if you go to best friends-forever.webflow.io, you will be able to see the website. And the cool thing is that it's also responsive, a little bit responsive. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is what we're going to do. Let me show you also the studio file. This is the studio file. And on the studio file, if you download it, it has everything. You can customize this thing to just like change the image here. And if you want to export it, you can export it. For example, this is a PNG. You can export it to a different image and just like change the text so you can make this design your own if you want to. And then the cool thing is too is that we're going to be needing these images. We're going to export them from here and then put them in Webflow. And also here on the on this studio file, I put some instructions. So if you get stuck, you can come back here to the instructions, and each section, I put an instruction for each section. So what are the steps to create this section? You know what? The parent section, you want to do it like flex horizontal, justified center, all of that stuff is here. Everything you're going to be going through today, all of those steps are here, so you can just open the studio file anytime, come back, and if you get stuck on something, you can come back and see it here and see what you're missing. So yeah, that's the studio file. Let's go back to this. Let me go over here, and again, all of this is already finished. You can clone this stuff, but we want to go and start from scratch, right? So you have to go to webflow.com/dashboard. Sign into your account and then go to the dashboard, and we're going to create a new project. And on this new project, then you're going to say what kind of project. You can start with one of these templates, which are pretty cool. Some of them are paid, but you are designers. You want to create things from scratch because you are amazing. So we're going to select blank site. But if you want to go, check out these templates. These are pretty cool. And sometimes just for learning and seeing how stuff was made, it's always good to just like select the template, see how things were made, click, get in there, get curious. Curiosity will help you a lot here. But for now, let's just click on blank. Let's do sketch together test Webflow. There you go. You name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it that. And then now it's starting to create my project, and voila, we have our first project. So this is Webflow. This is pretty much it. And it's kind of scary. This is what I was telling you. When you're starting and you just see a blank canvas and you don't know where to start, I'm pretty sure if you're coming from using another design tool, you're going to be like, where can I add a rectangle? Where can I add a text layer? And there are a lot of similarities between what a design tool is and, for example, Studio and this. We're going to learn what those similarities are, and then trying to understand like when you design something and then how to translate it into this. So let's take a look at the UI. First, you're going to see on the right, you're going to see something that you're very similar to other tools where you have an inspector. And this inspector, depending on what you have selected, you have different settings. Right now, I don't have anything selected. Let me go back to my previews, okay? Let me go back to my to this one, because since there's already stuff in it, it's going to be more helpful if we see what happens here. So for example, if I select this text, I see the settings of this text over here. The first tab here there are different tabs, and the first tab is all about the style of this. So it's a little paintbrush because it's like painting, you know. And then you will see that all of these collapse for all the different options that you have. You can change the layout, you can change the typography, you can change the background, border, channels, all of this stuff. Usually, most of the stuff that you're going to be changing is on the layout and typography, unless it's something that needs the other stuff. But on the layout, you're going to see the display settings, like what kind of block is this? Is it a block? Is it a flex box? We're going to be switching between these two, block and Flexbox. And then you see this little guy here. This is telling you what is the margin between the element and the other elements that are surrounding it. So right now, for example, this one is set at 20 on the top and 10 on the bottom. And also you can just like come here and edit this. For example, like this. Whoa. You start editing and you see all the changes that you make, you see them live here, which is freaking cool, right? And over here, for example, if I wanted to add a little bit of padding on the bottom, you can do that here. Going to Command C and Command Z. But that's how you do it. And then other layout settings like the width, the minimum width, the maximum width, all of this stuff is here. Sometimes you won't use it, so try to go send mode and just ignore that stuff. I think that you can, if you don't need that, you can just like turn off advanced. But sometimes for this project, we are going to be needing this. So let's keep it on. And then typography. This is really important when you are, for example, here, this is a headline. Then you can change everything for like typeface, your what the weight, what is the size, the line height, the color, even the alignment, all that cool stuff that you're used to from a design tool. It has that same layout that you would find in Studio. It's very similar to, for example, for how you see it in Studio. And also other stuff like the background, if you want to add a background color, if you want to add a border, shadows, and all that stuff. For now, we don't need that, but it's there for when we need it. And then you're going to see also the settings. For example, this is a headline, the one that I have selected here. This one is also, no, this is not a headline, it's a paragraph, but this is a headline. And then here I can change, if it is a tag that is common on the web, I can just go back and change it, what it is. I have it as H2 because I want a screen reader to first read this. This is actually an H1, and probably you're going to be confused because like, aren't H1 supposed to be bigger? Well, yes and no. Yes, as in they are bigger, but also an H1 will have priority whenever a screen reader goes here. So I put this one as an H1, so it reads it. So this is the first thing that it reads, and then it reads this thing as an H2, a screen reader reads it second. But to this H2, I apply my own class, CSS class to it, and then I change the style and the typography. So that's how you do it. Now, you're going to be blown away by this. You have the navigator, and this is like in other design tools like Studio, you will see like a layers list, right? This is very similar to that. This is just a layers list. It even looks a lot like what would you see on like groups when you start grouping stuff. Here, instead of grouping, you're putting elements inside containers, inside boxes. For example, this is, everything is inside the body. This is like the parent. And so in a way that you would see the body as an artboard, you know? So the body of this screen, which will be on your design on Studio, if I go back, that will be this artboard. That's the body of this landing page. And then inside it, I have different sections, and all of these sections, I just like added those sections, and in those sections, I added blocks, and inside those blocks, I added, for example, on this one, I added another block, and then I added like my elements, which on like in a design tool, you would call them layers, but here's more like components or elements. Here's text, buttons, all of that stuff. But if instead of groups, you're putting stuff inside boxes, and that box can be inside another box, and that box can be inside another box. It's the web. It's a beautiful and crazy place. So it is like that, but it's pretty similar to a design tool. So that's good because we understand it. Now, another thing cool is here the style manager. The style manager has all the different classes that we are using, all the different styles, the custom styles that we're using on our page. Right now, you see that all this stuff I've been adding it. And whenever you start styling something, if you add a headline and you start changing the text to it, like the size, the color, or something, Webflow automatically will add a new style to it. You don't have to write it. It will say like, oh, okay, apparently you need a new style, and then we'll add it here. So sometimes you don't really need to go back here. unless you want to change the name of your classes, of your styles. So you come back here, and also, for example, if I were to add a new style that I wasn't using it on my page, here I will be able to clean it up. Right now, it's all clean, so nothing is there. And also interactions. We're not going to be doing anything about interactions today, but if you want to add like interactions, like triggers and page triggers and stuff like that, you're going to be doing it here on this tab. Okay, cool. So that's the UI on the right side. Now let's take a look at what's going on here on the top. This toolbar here on the top, by default, it will be here on this. These icons represent the different breakpoints for your design, for this landing page. And like, what are you looking at right now? Right now, we're looking at a desktop, but you can change it. You can switch it to, let's say, how does this page look on tablet? I click on tablet, and then I have a preview of how this is going to look. And I can start editing stuff, and it's the same design, it's the same page. I just start editing so it looks good on this breakpoint. And by doing that, it allows me to have the same design and then add like queries, like how you call them? Oh my God, I'm the worst. Anyway, you have new styles to the same class, media queries. Oh my God, yes. Media queries to the same class, so they act on the different breakpoints. So it will just like automatically adjust. So this way your design will be responsive. And then you go back here and see how this is going to look on a mobile when it's horizontal, and this is on a mobile when it's vertical, and this is how it's going to look. And all of these things, you're going to see that I actually changed the style on all these little guys. So for example, if I select this guy, it's called Jumbo, right? If I go back to desktop and I see the text style, the typography of it, it's at 60 pixels. The size of it, it's big. It's a desktop. Let's go big. But if we go to all the way to mobile, you're going to see that I changed the size of it to 28, but I'm using the same class. I'm still using Jumbo. The good thing about this is that all of those different styles for different breakpoints are same to the same class. Magic, baby. And I didn't have to code anything. I just had to go here and just like change the size. It looks good. I like it. Publish, baby. Okay, cool. So that's it, how this stuff looks on the top. You're also going to have here on the top this little guy that allows you to publish. Once you are ready to put it out there to the world so they can see it, you go here and Webflow gives you a subdomain that you can use. So whatever your project is called, .webflow.io, and then you can publish this. For example, I publish it, wait a little bit, and then you can see it. You just click on this little guy, and now you can see it on the web. And this is how it's looking on the web, baby. Okay, cool. So something else, sometimes you want to preview not being here. You can just like click on this eye, and you can toggle the preview. And now you're in preview mode. The tools disappear, and you can just like toggle it again. That way the tools come back. Now, I'm pretty sure you're wondering, okay, that's cool. So how do I add stuff to this? Well, for that, we have the tools here on the left. And then we have this big plus button to add elements. And then, boom, look at this. There are already elements that are really common on the web. They're going to be using a lot. And before I go to that, let me check the chat to see, hopefully, you can rename style, class name. Okay, cool. Yes. Okay, cool. So if you have questions, please just like leave your questions here. Sorry, I'm looking at the, well, you can see what I'm looking at, right? My big face is there. Anyway, just please add your questions here. Pixel Geek, I think he is from Webflow, so he might actually be helping support right now. Probably he's like, no, I didn't sign up for that. Okay, cool. So yeah, going back. So to add elements, you go back here and you see the plus button and you see this list of all the stuff that you can add, from the most basic stuff to a little bit more complex. But here you have, like, usually you start with the layout stuff. Whenever you are like starting from scratch, you're going to be starting adding your layout, and then you're going to start adding basic elements, basic components, and then probably typography, and then you can add photos and videos, forms too. Like you start with a form block, and then you can start adding elements to your form, and also components. Components are usually just stuff that has been built by Webflow for you, so you don't have to build tabs, so you don't have to build a nav bar. It's just a nav bar that is like has basic styling, and then you can customize the styling of that nav bar, but it has some functionality in it. It is a component that you can just like customize how it will look on like the links, how is it going to be fixed, all that stuff. For example, a drop down, instead of you building a drop down from scratch, you just use a drop down component and you can customize it. You can also customize a light box, you can also customize a slider, all these things that are really useful. Instead of you redesigning the wheel, you just like use the component and just adjust it to your needs. Okay, cool. So I think that's it on the UI. Oh yeah, so hold on, there's more stuff. You can, if you were to use CMS, if you wanted to add a content management system to your site, you can do it here. But I think that's a paid feature. And also, if you wanted to add pages, right now I only have one page, and all these pages are like the basic ones. But if you wanted to add more pages to your project, you could do it here. And also assets, all the media that you're going to be using on your site, you go back here. Whenever you add it, you're going to be able to find it here. And also settings. And something, I'm pretty sure that you might not be able to see this stuff on the bottom left, but this is something that I need. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to move my face out of the way, and then I'm going to go back here. And let me go. Okay, can you see my face? I think it moved to the middle. I wanted to show you this. So this stuff here is pretty useful because you want to show the grid layout. My God, look at that. And also you can enable X-ray mode. Sometimes you just want it black and white and see all the stuff, how it's looking. And also this is the most useful stuff here. You could just stop listening to me and go here to the video tutorials, and then all of this stuff. It's really good content. You can learn a lot from this because you can even learn the basic stuff about HTML and CSS, how the web works. You can go here and like how the web structure of everything. It's really great content. And even if you're not going to be developing something, I think this will help you just like understand how the web is built, and then and also make you a better designer. So I would recommend also watching this stuff. Whenever you get stuck, I'm pretty sure there's a video for that stuff. Okay, cool. So that's it. That's the UI. Now, let's go. How are you feeling? Are you feeling motivated? Are you feeling like you can do stuff now? Because we're going to do that. We're going to go to the dashboard. I'm going to go to the dashboard. I'm going to go back to my blank canvas, and I'm going to start designing my stuff. And before doing that, I want to see if there are any questions. Any questions? Any questions? I can't wait to see e-commerce elements. E-commerce is going to be so cool. Yes. Thanks, Pixel. We'll check them. Okay, cool. Thank you, Pixel Geek. You're helping there. And okay, cool. Let's go back to my design. Okay, so let's go back to seeing our design. What are we going to do? Let's start with the first section. The first section, I imagine it to be like this image. This section takes the full height of the browser. You know, when someone opens it, the text was the height of the browser, and then it puts it full height, and then it puts this content in the middle, and then that image is just like expands. So that's what I want to do. Let's go back and start adding our content. Sorry about that. Oh my God, my face. So the first thing that I want to do is add a section. Usually whenever, by the way, let me go back to my design. All of these are different sections. So this part here is a section. This part here is a section. And by the way, let me move my face back to the corner. And let's go back here. And then this part is a section, this part is a section, this is another section, and this is another section, and the footer could be another section, yes. So, and inside the sections, we put the components, we put the containers, we put the blocks, and all that stuff, okay? So that's the thinking here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add one section here from the layout, just drag and drop it here. And now I can start adding elements to it. So the first thing is that I want this section. I'm going to go to the layout and I'm going to change it to flex because I'm going to put elements in it that I want them to be aligned, vertically aligned. And flex does that really well. So I'm going to actually change here the alignment to be center. So it aligns in the middle and the center. And also I want it to be, I think it's going to be this guy over here. So it justifies to the center the elements. Okay, so that's it for now. Now let's start adding our content where we're going to put our stuff. And for that, we need to add, if I wanted to, I'm going to add 2 div blocks. I'm going to add one, and then I'm going to add another one. There you go, 2 div blocks. One for my text and one for my image. So here, the first thing that I want to do is probably, by the way, I'm still learning this stuff, so I might get a little bit stuck sometimes, but we have Pixel Geeks there to help us. But the first thing is I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to start adding my elements, my text. So I'm going to add a heading right here. And then I'm going to add, I think I have some paragraphs. So I'm going to add the paragraph text here below it. There you go. So it's starting to take all of this space because this one doesn't have any content. So since it doesn't have any content, it's just like there waiting for it to, like the other one is expanding and taking the full width. Since our container is a flex. So, okay, so I have that. Now I'm going to add another thing, which would be my button. Right now, I'm just adding the buttons and I'm not caring about the styling or anything. I'm just adding this. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but when I start like dragging, it's just like the red text here is telling me where this thing is being dropped. Right now it's telling me that it's being dropped inside the div block. But if I wanted to do this, you're going to see that the label changes to body. That tells me that it's being that if I drop it there, it will be dropped into the body. But I don't want to do that. I want to put it here inside this div block. There you go. I have my button, I have my header, and I think I want to add another heading. I'm going to add another heading on top of this guy. So we have 2 headings. And let's go back to our design. And here on the design, and Studio, I'm just going to start copying and pasting the text. So I'm going to copy this text and then I'm going to paste it here. Look, I copied it again. Hold on. There you go. And then let me copy this text to Command C and then here Command V. And then let's copy this text. That way we have our text the right way. So there you go. Let me copy paste and see it. It shrunk down because the content of the text is not as big, but we're going to fix that later. And then here, I'm going to also copy the text of the CTA. I'm going to go over here, and I'm pretty sure I can just select this and adopt a pet. Okay. Starting to look good. Starting to look good, my friends. Okay, so this one, you can go back here and select all of these elements and start styling them. Right now, I can just like go and say this guy is going to be, instead of 38 pixels, number one, I'm going to change the type of heading. I'm going to say that this is an H2. This one here on the settings, on this little cog, I can change what type of heading it is. It's already H1. I like that. It's okay. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to see what is the style of this. Right now, this is set at 16 pixels with a line height of 24. So I can just go back here and say, hey, this guy should be 16 pixels with a line height of 24. There you go. So right now, once I start adding styling, you're going to see that automatically creates a new class here. Right now, it created a new class called heading. So I can and this is just a name that Webflow give it, but you can change this name. So I want to rename this class to probably, it's not logo, but it's a logo. Let's say that is the logo for now, but it's logo. And then this one, I'm going to actually add, this guy is really big. It's a really big text. It's size 60, 66. By the way, you don't have to follow the sizes that I'm putting. Probably this is too giant and you're going to be like, Pablo, you are a crazy person. Why are you doing this? But I want to do this, okay? So it's up to you. So, okay, so this guy is called, also they give you the class called heading. I'm going to actually call it Jumbo. Jumbo, baby. Jumbo, this is my Jumbo text, and probably we're going to be reusing this text a lot, so it's good to have it here. And then this guy, I think it's a little bit bigger here. So it's 22 pixels and the line height is 30. So I go back here and say 22 pixels, line height 30. And now it's called paragraph. I'm going to actually call it copy, as in copy, like marketing copy. Again, this has to make sense to you. Probably you're like a little bit confused by my naming. You name it whatever you want, okay? Don't listen to me. Okay, so we're having our elements. Now I want this div block to have the image as a background. This guy over here, this should be the image, the image. So I already exported this, but if you want to export it, you just like go back to Studio and select that layer and then export hero pick. But I already exported it. So what I want to do is go select that div block, go to the background, and then here you're going to see that I can add a fill color. For example, if I wanted to add a solid color like that, just like in any other design tool. But actually, I want it to be an image, not a solid color. And then here, I can start adding, images, my media files. So I'm going to go choose image. And I haven't added anything to my media file, so I have to go and upload stuff. So I'm going to go here and going to go to my assets. By the way, again, you can download all this stuff here. I'm going to say that this guy, and I'm going to actually upload all of these photos, all of these images that I already exported. So uploading my assets. I'm loading my assets. It selected that one, but that's not the one we want. It's a good photo, but not exactly what we wanted. Let's select the one that we want. Now it's there. Now something that I want to do is actually you can set the size of it. You can set the position. I want this to be cover. It will just like, it's almost like in Studio or other design tools, is like image fill. You know, it's just like taking the whole space and it's trying to adjust it to the center. And right now, the preset of the position is to the top left, but I want it to be in the center. I just click on this guy, and now it's aligning it to the center. Look at that. Obviously, it's a little bit tiny, right? It's a little bit too small. So what we want to do is go back to our, by the way, we're done with this. Now we want to, on the layout of this, we want it to, well, first of all, we want to change the width of it. I think the width of it should be 50%, like 50% of the screen. There you go. Right now, it's a little bit too thin. So we want to also change the height of it. And I want to change it to 100. This one is a little bit tricky. It's not 100%. You have to put VH. VH stands for vertical height. So I'm going to put VH. And now it's taking the full height of the window of the browser. And there you go. I think that's around it. It's looking good. How pretty is that? Look at that dog. That's the puppy eyes. Okay, cool. So this is looking good. This guy over here is a little bit too long, right? I probably want to make it a little bit smaller. So I think that right now, let's look at our layers list. Right now we have the body. Then inside it, we have one section. And inside that section, we have two blocks. One with all our stuff, and one that is just like, it looks like it's empty, but actually what it's doing is has that image as a background image. So if I were to change this to, I want to actually have this still be 50% of the width, but the content of it, I want it to be a little bit smaller. So what I want to do is actually add another block inside it. So here, we're going to learn how to add a block in here on our navigator. So I'm going to actually say, hey, I'm going to add one more block here. And then I want to add this block inside the other block. See, I'm just dragging and dropping. And now we have, it still looks like we have 2 blocks here on our section, but inside this div block, we have another block. And this block, I wanted to have probably a max width. I want this little guy to have a max width, or let's see what's the max width of this. The max width is 490 pixels here in my design. So I'm going to apply that here too. I'm going to here on my layout, I'm going to say, hey, the max width of this little guy is going to be 490 pixels. Just press 490 and okay, this is starting to look good, but not exactly great because this guy is just like being pushed to the middle. So this is something that is happening because our hero, like this guy over here, the section, is set as flex, but I think it should be set as flex probably like this, like this. Not exactly, right? I think we want to actually keep it like that. What is happening here is that the container of this, the bigger container, this should also be a little bit bigger. So I want to say that, first of all, I want to center this to center the elements. So I want to go here. I can say that the padding on the left, the margin, sorry, on the left and on the right, I can set them to auto. I can just write it down here, auto. This is an old trick to change this how elements are aligned on horizontally like this. I don't know why it's like that, but it's like an old trick on the web. You just like put auto padding on auto margin on the left and auto margin on the right, and then the contents inside it will align. So that's what we're doing right now. And as you can see, now the elements inside are being aligned to the center, and the content is taking the width, the 50% of the width of the container of the section. And now, look at that. It's looking good. It's looking great. I love it. That was. Sometimes I feel like I'm cheating with this because we're doing stuff that you would do with code, but we're doing it here. And at least for me, that I'm used to just like using tools like this, design tools, for me, it makes it really, really easy. Okay, cool. So something else that I want to do is start playing around with the style of this stuff. So for example, this button, I want to change the color of my button and probably change the save the class of this button so I can reuse it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this background, I'm going to go back to my design, see what's the color of this guy. I'm going to go back. This is a component apparently, and this is another component because I'm using components here in my studio file. And then now I get to see the color of it. So the hex code of it, I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to go back to my design here. I'm going to say that the background is going to be a solid color. So I'm going to go here and just paste this guy. There you go. Now it's the same color as my file. And now also I want to change the border radius of it. So over here right now, if you see, it's just a square. It's just the corner radius are sharp. And I want to add a little bit of radius so it looks a little bit softer. So I can go here to the border, and here on the radius, I can just start playing with it. I'm going to say 4 pixels. Usually 4 pixels is good enough. Just press enter, and it's not working. Did it not work? What's going on? I don't know why I had a corner radius of 4. There you go. Now it's working. Let me just add a little bit more so it's more obvious. If I wanted to add 100, you see now it's like a round button. It's not exactly what I want. I'm going to go back to 4 pixels. But you see, now it's a little bit more obvious. Now, something else that I want to do is control the padding of the elements here. I want the buttons to have a little bit more space on the left and on the right, and also on the top and bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and say here that on the top and on the bottom is 12 pixels. I'm going to say that 24 on the left and 24 on the right. Now the button feels a little bit more, the affordance of the button is a little bit bigger, right? It's almost telling you like, click here. Come on, adopt a pet. Do it now. Okay. This is starting to look good, my friends. Look at this. Are you How good are you feeling? Are you feeling empowered now? Are you feeling like I can start creating websites? I can turn my designs into code without coding. Okay, I'm going to go back to my copy and I'm going to add a little bit of padding on the bottom. This guy should probably, let's add 16 pixels here. So the button is a little bit separated from the text. See, the layout is looking better. Look, I'm feeling good about this. Let's preview it. Let's press this little button. And now this is how it's looking on the web. Right now I'm trying to scroll and nothing is happening because I haven't added any content here. So let's start adding more content, my friends. And to do that, we can go here to add elements. Hold on. Before I do that, I want to tell you something really cool that I forgot to tell you about the UI here, and it's the bottom part. I forgot to tell you that. I am dumb. Sometimes I forget stuff. Okay? So a good way to know where you are when you select an element and where you are inside the box, you can get lost sometimes, you know? You don't know where exactly you are. Good way to know exactly without looking at the layers list is just selecting the element, and then here on the bottom, let me move my big face. I think that my big face is probably just like in the middle of. So here on the bottom, you see where you are, and you can just like actually select it and say, hey, I want to select the section. If you select this button, for example, this button is telling me that this button is inside this div block, that's inside this div block, that is inside the section. It's kind of crazy. But that's what they're called. Anyway, this is, by the way, something that is really useful is start naming your stuff. So for example, this one is div block. I'm just going to go here. I can rename it and I can say have content. I don't know why you would name it that, but if you want to name it, you can name it that. And you can go over here and start selecting your elements. And for example, this one, I'm going to call it text wrapper. This wouldn't be the text wrapper. No, the wrapper will be this guy. This should be the text wrapper. So you can, we're not going to be doing this a lot. I'm just showing you how to do that, and I think it's very important that you are good with the naming of your classes, and that's how you do it. You can also go back here, and if something is not making sense here, you can just go to the settings and change the name of it, okay? But sometimes it's better to change it in context because you know where you're using it. Okay, let's add one more section. One more section. There you go. I added one more section here. And then on this section, I'm going to set it to flex also. I'm going to say, let's go back to my design. Let's go back to my design. Okay, this is a section that we're creating now. This is a big section, and inside this section we have the content, and then inside the content we have two elements. We have an image and we have text. So actually, by the way, I didn't tell you this, but the layers here, how the groups and stuff are mimicking a lot how the elements are, you would put them on Webflow too. So it's a good way to actually, if you get lost a little bit, you can also go back here to layers list and see how elements are arranged. Okay, cool. So we have this, we have all that stuff. And okay, let's go back. We want to add one more section. One div block. This div block is like a box, and inside that box we're going to put more boxes. So we're going to put two boxes on that. Actually, another div block inside that div block. So now that div block has one div block. Let's see. Hold on. This div block should be part of this. So now this div block should have two div blocks. And right now they are aligned on top of each other because this one I also have to put it as flexbox. I need to put it as flexbox, and then it's horizontal. So now they're next to each other. Okay. So cool. So first thing, probably I want to align this. It's already aligned to horizontally. I want to align these, justify them to have a space around. And also I want to align them to the center. So the elements are like centered because we want to add padding. But before we add padding, let's just start adding our elements. So here I want to add another yeah, I'm going to add another image. Sorry, I'm going to add an image like that from here, from my assets. And I think this is the one. I'm going to just drag it inside here. And then here, it's looking a little bit big. The thing is that I export as 2x, so I can just say, hey, this is a high definition image. And boom, now I just like made it a little bit smaller. Okay, now I want to start adding content to this. So probably this is going to be, I'm wondering how I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm just going to start adding content. So I'm going to actually copy these guys. I'm going to copy, and then here, paste. Copy, and then here, paste. Copy, and then here, paste. Okay, so we have our elements here. I'm going to start editing them. Right now, well, the first thing that I want to do is copy the text, so it's the real text. And then this guy over here, copy the text, so it's the real text. And this one is volunteer, so I can go here and just like write volunteer with exclamation mark, because it's like, yeah, volunteer. Okay, cool. So first of all, I'm going to remove this class. I'm going to remove that class. It's an H2. I like the styling right now. I'm going to say that this div block, I'm going to actually change. I feel like the width of it should be 50%. That way it aligns to the center. What do you think? So I'm going to go here, the width of it, change it to 50. Oh, no, not 50 pixels, 50%. So you have to put 50% there. And now it's 50%. I don't know if that's right. By the way, a lot of this stuff, you start like clicking stuff until something works. Seriously, like sometimes I'm like, no, I don't like that. Let me click on this little guy. No, I don't like that. Let me click on this guy. until something just like looks like it's working. That's how you do it. Okay, cool. So we have this guy now. Sorry, I'm trying to realize how this is built. Yeah, we have our info, we have our content. This guy here, let's go back to this, or div block. Oh, you know what? I need to set a maximum width to this. That's what's going on. So right now it's really big, right? It's taking the full width of the section. So what I want to do is to this div block, I want to set a maximum width to it. That way, the content will grab on that size. So I'm going to say that here, instead of width auto, I'm going to say that the maximum width, sorry, actually here, maximum width, I'm going to say that is 1080 pixels. There you go. It's starting to look good, my friends. And then let's go back to the section. And I want to go, the section should be justified to the center. Look at that. I'm so happy right now because when things work, because I just keep hitting buttons until something works. That's what I was just doing right now. That's what you just saw me doing that. Okay, so something else. Right now, it's too close to the previous section, and there's no padding here, and we designers love white space. So to add a little bit of white space, we can just go here to the layout and just start adding white space. I'm going to say that this is going to be 120 pixels. Yeah, actually, let's go big. 180, baby. 180. Let's go big with this one. 180. Sorry, I get excited. When things look good, I get excited. And it's okay. You should celebrate, You should celebrate your accomplishments. It's always good. We always forget about celebrating the good stuff that we do. So don't forget that, okay? Okay, cool. So it's there. And then look at that. It's just in the middle. It's floating. Again, it's not the best design, but at least it's this design. It is represented this. If you want to make your own design, then I'm pretty sure that you will come here and say like, Pablo, first of all, let's change that typeface. Arial, come on. So you have the freedom to do that, my friends. Okay, cool. So we have this section. This section is looking good. I'm going to add one more section below this guy. And this section is going to be a little bit tricky because this guy has two elements inside it. I suppose, yeah, I forgot how I did it. I think, you know what? In this one, we can use columns. We can use the columns. So both columns take the full width and then put the content inside it. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So first of all, here on elements, something you can also add is here in the layout is columns. So you can just drag and drop your columns. And then here it asks you what type of, how many columns you want to add to the grid. So it could be 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. For this one, we only need 2 columns. So it's taking 6 and 6 columns, and 6 and 6 columns to make 2 columns. It's so weird when you say it like that. But you have 2 containers, and that's it. Now, the cool thing about this is that by dragging that here, if I go to my navigator, you're going to see that our row, hold on. It added the rows without not inside a section. Let me put it inside the section. Okay, there you go. So I think it might not need to be inside the section, but I like it to be inside the section. It could have just been, no, I'm putting, keep the section and then put your row with 2 columns inside that section. And then there you go. Now we can start putting our content. And I think, yeah, how can we do this? I suppose we can start just adding the image. Number one, let's go back to our design. We have the image, then some text, and then that thing. And apparently it's center aligned. So let's just start adding our content here. Okay, let's say that is HDPI. Then let's add a heading. Okay, heading. This one is going to be an H2 too. Probably it's an H3. H3, and then let's add some text. Text. Some paragraph text. And let's add a button. I'm putting a lot of buttons. I'm pretty sure you're going to let Pablo stop it with the buttons. I like buttons, okay? Leave me alone. Something cool. Now, remember we created a style for this button? We can reuse it here, my friends. We can go back here and you can select the class. And I think, whoa, what was the class of this one? It's called link. So we should be able to just use that one. It's called link. Yeah. There you go. And it changes the style of it. By the way, I think I forgot to move my face out of the way. I put my face back here. La. Okay, before I continue, let me see the chat. Let me see what's going on over here, my friends. Okay. Florian, totally love that. Here you go, Pablo. Okay. Okay. Okay, by the way, Pixel Geek, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there, helping. So I appreciate it. And for everyone that is here, it's just like doing stuff, really, it's... You give me energy, and thank you for that. Okay, cool. So number one, I think I'm realizing that this is going to be too big. It's taking the full width of the column, and I think it will be good to have our elements inside another box. I know, boxes inside boxes. Stop it, Pablo. I think that's what we need to do. And actually, I think that's how I did it over here too. Over here, we have our row, and then inside we have a column. And then inside the column, we have our group with the elements that is floating in the middle. See what's up? That's what we're going to do. So let's go over here. And actually inside the column, we're going to put another block. Let's put another div block. Boom, boom, boom. And then let's select these guys and then put them inside that div block. Look at that. There you go. Drag and drop. You put a little button here, and now we have our div block, and our div block is looking great. And now we can make our div block have a maximum width, and our column is still 100%, and we can add color to it. That's the purpose of this, because here we're going to add color to this column, and then okay, this column should not. What am I doing? Sorry. And then on this div block, we're going to add a little bit of width, and that way it will, and also by the way, and that way we'll be floating. Okay, cool. So let's do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say that the width, maximum width, I'm going to say that, what is the maximum width here? It's 320 pixels. So let's go ahead and do 320 pixels. See, now it's getting a little bit shorter, my friends. Apparently the text is not great. So I'm going to copy this guy. Paste this guy. Copy this guy. Paste this guy. How easy is this, by the way? Right? This is, I feel, seriously, I feel like I'm cheating. We're cheating, my friends. But it's the good kind of cheating, because you're being, you're doing stuff in an easier way. Everyone should be using this. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now I think we want to turn this into flex. Oh my God, look at that. I think it should be vertical. And then we want to align everything to the center. Bow, baby. And now that everything's aligned to the center, that's cool. I think this paragraph should also be aligned to the center. So let's just change it to the center. There you go. And now it's in the middle. What's going on here? Did I just like... Oh, again, I'm sorry. I think I accidentally put the row outside the section. Okay, so let's go back to our column. And in the column, I think the row should be, let me see. Probably this guy should be, no, I think the column, we have to align it to the center. We have to make it flex. So I'm going to go back here, column. And then I'm going to say that this is flex. And I'm going to say that it's centers. So cool, right? And then I'm going to say also that it aligns to the center here. And now we can start adding a little bit of padding here. So I'm going to say this guy has, let's go ahead and do what we were doing before. Probably this is too much. Let's do 120. 120 on the top, 120 in the bottom. And then let's add a little bit of color. What is the color that we're using here? Oh my God. Yeah, so the color is that guy. I'm going to copy the hex code. I'm going to go back to my block, my column. I'm going to add a background color here. Just paste the color. It's time to dance, my friends. Time to dance. Look at that. It's looking good. Okay, let's call it. I'm going to call it dog. This style. So name your stuff correctly. Okay, don't use these names. These names are horrible. Name your styles the right way. I don't know why you should call them, but I'm going to call them dog. So that's one column. Now I want to apply to this other column. I want to apply the same style, actually. So I'm just going to go to that column. I'm going to apply the class that is called dog to, and look at that. So now I want to actually copy this content. I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to paste it over here, and look at that. It's looking good. It's looking good. I think this guy, the row, has to be, should be flexbox too. Yeah, and it's full. Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So now something else that I want to do here is change the color of this. So what I can do is add a new class. So this one is going to be bluish. I think it's bluish. See, this color, the color of the cat is a little bit, it's different color. So I'm going to just like go ahead and copy this color. And now since it has another class on top of the dog, it's grabbing all the different styling from this class, and it's whatever I apply to this new class is not going to make changes to the other one while keeping the styling from the other stuff. So I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to override this color with this guy, and look at that. And I think the text here is, are you feeling it? And that's because this should be a dog. Sorry, a cat. There you go. Aww. And this should say, adopt a cat. Guys, we're almost finished. How are you feeling? You feeling good? This is dope, right? Okay. Let's add one more section. This section is actually pretty cool. I really like the one that we're going to do because it creates, yeah, I know you cannot add a section. We need to add the section to the bottom. Come on. Why is it not? Okay, I think I need to select the section and then say, add the section, baby. Okay, body. I need to select the body. And then it's add the section. And now we have a new section here. I was having trouble because you cannot put a section inside another section. That you cannot do. Okay? And that's what I was trying. Webflow was thinking that I was trying to add a section inside a section. No, Webflow. That's not what I wanted to do. But thank you for not letting me do that anyway. Cool. So let's go back here below and let's take a look at this. Look at that guy. Look at this or girl. I don't know. Those eyes, right? They can convince you of anything. Okay, cool. So this guy is going to be a big container with a big image in the background. That's what we're going to do. And then this text is just going to be floating in the center. And we're going to have to use magic, That's what we need for it to be floating in the center and looking good, just as good as the design. So we're going to go to your section. And first thing, I think we can just start adding, number one, remember we did this 100 vertical height for this, and we also added a background image. It's very similar to what we did here. Now we're going to apply to the whole section. So let's go back here. I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to say that the height is 100 BH, as in vertical height. Now it's pretty big, but it's just big and blank. So we want to add a background to it. So I'm going to say background. I'm going to click on the image icon. I'm going to choose the image and then select this little guy. Look at that. Ah, so pretty. Now, remember what we did before? We click on cover, and now it takes the whole thing. And we want to align it to the center. Now it's aligned center vertically and horizontally. And this is looking good. Okay, well, we can just leave it as that. No text, just those eyes and a button that says buy. No, donate. Donate now. Come on, do it. Okay, so let's add a dip block right here in the middle. Cool. We have a dip block. This dip block, we want to add. This dip block is going to take the full. Probably we want it to be a maximum width of 1080 as we did before. That way, it's the content is just it won't go bigger than that. And then we also want, I suppose the section should be flex. I don't think I made it flex. Yeah, it should be flex and it should be aligned to the center. There you go. And then, yes, aligned to the center. And then it's looking like my dip block now. It's not respecting the 1080. Oh yeah, it is maximum 1080, but right now there's nothing there, so that's why it looks so small. So let's start adding. Stuff. Probably I don't need the maximum width. Anyway, let's just start adding stuff. Let me remove this. I don't think I need it actually. Yeah, I'm going to remove it. See, sorry, my friends. Sorry, this happens. Okay, so let's add another. Let's add another div. I want to add another div block inside this div block, because this div block is going to have the content and the other one is going to expand and is going to center the elements. Okay, so right now if we look at the layout, we have a section that has the background, then we have a div block that is going to expand, and then we have another div block that is going to be aligned to the left. So, and it's going to be aligned to the left with our content. So let's go back and start adding our content. So let's add a heading, and H2 should be good. Let's add a paragraph, and let's add another button. Buttons everywhere. I put too many buttons, I know. So first of all, we want to change the style of this, because this should be white, right? White. And then this text should also be white. And then this button, well, this button should be taking the class of the link. Is it called link? Yeah, link. By the way, I'm going to call it button. Rename class to button. No, not the text, sorry. Realizing that I was applying the text, the style to this guy. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay, this guy should be white. Oh man, I did something. And that's what happens on live streams. Okay, cool. So we have our button. Now I'm going to add another one that is inverted. And then something's happening. Something weird is happening with this guy. I already put it as white, my friend. Come on, keep the white. Keep the white color. So I'm going to put invert white text. Yeah, white text, and then I'm going to apply the white text to it. And then on this one, I'm going to remove this class, and I'm going to apply the same one that is called white text. So here is only applying the color of the white text. And then this guy over here, it's inverted, and I want the background to be different. Actually, I want the background to be also like a grayish, and I want the text to be dark. There you go. Okay, cool. So the content is looking good. I'm wondering, I suppose this div container should be, yeah, let me see. This div block, I'm wondering how can I do this? I think I should probably, let me see I put some high, justified to the left, content container. Yeah, 1080. I should have to do that. Yeah. Okay. So I should make this 1080. Yeah, 1080. Maximum width of 1080. I wasn't that wrong. And then this guy over here. This guy should be probably, I think is 50%. Yeah, 50% should be the width of this. 50%. Sorry. 50%. And now the content is like that. And now this guy, I want that to be also flex. And I want it to be center vertical. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This stuff wouldn't be possible without flex, by the way. Like vertical alignment, so difficult without flex. I don't know how we were doing it, but there was so much code involved in this, and so many ways that you could do this. Not anymore, my friends. Not anymore. By the way, I'm going to put copy here. I'm going to select that class, and then I'm going to put white text. So there you go. This copy text is not, it's really bold, huh? Let me see over here. Copy is the width of the, it's normal. What's going on here? Why is it so bold? I don't know. I suppose it's the white. Anyway, it's starting to look good, my friends. Let's change this to say Puck Live. Puck Live. And then this should be, I think it's Jumbo. So let's use Jumbo. with white text. See, I'm combining different classes. Jumbo, it grabs the size of the text and the line height, and white text puts the color. And that way, I'm not, if I were to change jumbo to white, then it would also change it here, and you don't want that. That's why you're combining two different classes. One that is just for the size and the styling, and then one that changes the color, white text. Pretty clever, huh? Pretty clever. Okay, cool. So we're almost done, my friends. Oh my God. Last but not least. Let's add another section here. Let's select this section just so we are adding it in the right place. I suppose we have to select body and then section, and there you go. And before we go there, let's check the chat to see how we're doing. Los, that talk live. I'm sorry, but I am not excited about what our common unit is. Okay. Hey, Los, did you just give me $2? Dude, thank you so much. That I appreciate it. Love you. Or was that to me or was that to Pixel Geek? Because Pixel Geek deserves those $2. Okay, cool. So, oh, it was those notes. Yeah, those notes are really there to help you, by the way. Those notes, if you get stuck, just come to these notes. These notes should help you. They're not the prettiest notes, but these notes should help you. Okay, cool. So let's come back. And actually, let me check my notes on this one. Yeah, the section to flex horizontal. Yeah, top and bottom. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to our little guy here, or section. This section should have another div block inside it. This div block is what's going to have our content. And then inside it, let's start adding our, I think it's just a text and a button, right? Text and a button. Let me actually copy the text. And then inside this div block, let's add a paragraph text, a heading, sorry. And then copy paste and then adopt a pet. So let's just, actually, I'm just going to copy this button. Copy. I'm lazy, my friends. Don't judge me for being this lazy. Okay, this div block should probably have a maximum width. Maximum width of, what is the width of this guy? And this is 490. Let's change the width of this to 490. 490 pixels. There you go. I kind of like it that it's in two. Oh yeah, because this has to be jumbo. Again, it doesn't have to be jumbo, but I like it jumbo. I like my text to be big. You know, that's just me. No. Let's add another one that is CTA. I'm going to call it CTA or probably center. Yeah, that way I can reuse it. And then I center this. And then I'm going to select my section. This guy over here. This section should have everything aligned, should be flex and aligned to the center. There you go. And then probably also this div block should be flex and aligned to the center. And vertical, by the way. And yeah, aligned to the center. There you go. See, Flexbox will save your life. Okay, Flexbox, always use that. Before we, apparently they're also going to add CSS grid in the future. But for now, Flex is the way to go. Okay, cool. So this is too tight. It's too close for my taste. Let's add a little bit of padding, my friends. Let's go back to the section on this guy. And then we can start adding a little bit of padding here on the layout. Let's go say 120. Well, probably it's too much, right? 120. Don't be afraid of the white space. 120 on the top, 120 on the bottom. Okay, the text is pretty big. The text is huge. This should probably not be jumbo. Let me just put center as the class. Okay, and And yeah, I think, let's see, in this H1, I think that's good. I think that's good. If you want to, you can do this. Now it's in two lines. Okay, that's it. That's it. We have it on desktop. Desktop view. Let's publish it. Let's publish the selected domain. Let's preview it on the web. Stop. And now we go like this. Look at that. It's looking, look at that. Look at that face. You have to donate. By the way, it has to say donate. And let's do this. I didn't add the footer. We're not going to get into that. If you want to, that's homework, my friends. And actually, let's talk about homework because there's going to be more homework. Right now, we only did the desktop version. We have to see, okay, how does this look on the web, on a tablet? We go to a tablet and what? It's not looking great. Not that great. Okay, so this is great. This is great that you are able to see this and see how it's going to look on other devices. Now I can come here, select this device, and actually start changing stuff. So the first thing, for example, I want to change that this section, instead of being horizontal, I want the layout to be vertical. Look at that. Now it's like that. And also, not only that, but I also want to reverse the layout. I want the image to be on the top. You can do this here. See, by the way, this is probably too big. So now instead of, what was happening? I think the height of it was, of this guy was, yeah, this block was taking a height of 100 vertical height. We don't need it to be that. We can probably say, hey, you know what? When it's a tablet, let's say it's 320 pixels. 320 pixels. And let's say that the width is 100%. There you go. Probably 320 is too small. Let's go 400. Oh, and you can see the little guy there. Okay, cool. And we go to desktop and look at that. Desktop and tablet are different. Same classes. I didn't change the classes. It's just creating different media queries for different breakpoints. So now if I preview it, let's preview this guy. So we go over here. Now stop doing that. If I start resizing and then pow, see, it resized to that because we design the different breakpoints. So cool, so dope. So that's cool. Another thing that you're going to notice, all of these styles fall down to the other breakpoints. So this guy, for example, the horizontal, the landscape mobile, then it's also taking the same layout from the previous one, the bigger breakpoint before this one, which would be the tablet one. So then we still have the image on the top and the content on the bottom. Mobile, the same. Now, we're going to see that the mobile, this text is pretty big. Actually, even here, this is starting to look too big. Well, I'm going to keep it like that. I think over here, this is starting to look too big, so I can go ahead and actually change even the size of the text. I can say, hey, this guy probably is 48. This is starting to look good. And let's say that it's 52. There you go. Probably this guy. And let's go down to 18. Hopefully, your thinking behind this is a little bit more logical. It's not just touchy-feely. Start with touchy-feely, though. Sometimes that's how things start, you know? You feel it. Does it look good? Does it not look good? Here, I'm realizing that it's not looking that great until you get it right. And now, mobile, it's also taking the size from this one. It's still too big. Still too big. We have to go down to probably 32. 32, and then this guy, 36. And this guy, probably 16. And let's keep it at 24. Now, something else that is happening here is that this wrapper probably want to have a little bit of padding on the left and on the right. So we should probably start doing it, yeah, over here. Let's add a little bit of padding on the left and on the right. 16 and 16. Well, now it's not all the way to the edges. And if we go back here, it's good. And over here, it's good. Again, here I'm just showing you how to do this. it's up to you to actually go and fix all of this stuff, because all this stuff is going to need a little bit of love, my friends. All of this here's looking good, but here it's starting to, probably this guy, I don't know. This is something that you have to figure out by yourselves, okay? Here, we could have probably said that this did block instead of 50%. I think it was 50%. No, it's automatically set to something else. Anyway, play around with this. For example, this one, probably it should make it vertical. No. Sorry. I should probably go to this block and this flex box, make it vertical. And now we have the image on the top and then align to the center. We probably want to center the text here. Want to center this text. Anyway, all these changes are stuff that you are going to have to make a decision of, and just to start aligning your stuff. This is up to you, my friends. It's up to you. Coming back here, this is your homework, making this look good. Look at that. See? And all of these changes are being applied only to this breakpoint. Go back here. This is still aligned to the left. But if I go back all the way to mobile horizontal, then only those styles apply. Okay, so, and let's actually test it. Let's publish to selected domains. Good to go back here. What's going on? It's looking good. Now let's resize it. It's looking good. Let's resize it even further. It's looking good. It's dope, right? This is the good stuff, my friends. Okay, let's go back to see or. Okay, thanks. My pleasure, Wes. Yes, I'm pretty sure the Pixel Geek must be really annoyed by all the by all the stuff that I'm doing here. That is probably not. He will do it very differently. He or she will do it differently. But I'm still learning, my friends. And you only get better by practicing. And here what I'm doing is actually practicing. I'm practicing the tool. I'm practicing how to understand the web, how it works, how Flex works, all this stuff. You only get better if you keep doing, keep making stuff. And then those things will become so easy to you, and you only do it after making and practicing. And something else, which I'm doing right now, is teaching. What you learn, teach it to others. A friend, another designer that also is interested into learning the web or how to design stuff, teach it to them. And do it in a selfish way. Do it in a selfish way, because that's going to actually help you learn better. And well, also for the kind stuff where the other person is also going to learn, which is you're helping making the world a better place. So that's it for me. That's it for now. Let me see if you have any questions, please. I'm seeing here your questions, and I again, Pixel Geek, I thank you so much for being here answering the questions, and for everyone that is here just like learning. You're choosing to do this on a Saturday night. That speaks volumes of you. You should be proud of you, that you're keeping to improve your craft, improve your knowledge. You should be proud of yourselves, okay? And anyway, I think that's it. That's it for me. I'm gonna leave it again. Pixel Geek, the best, and everyone that is there, love you so much. I'm going to keep doing this stuff, by the way, just like the live streams, because and just preparing them. If you have any questions, find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Pablo Stanley. And if you have questions about this stuff, like if the file is corrupt, if anything is not working, please let me know. And that's it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye. How do I stop this? I don't know how to stop this. Okay, now for sure. Bye-bye.